Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is LJ and you're watching NoClutch Garage. And today I'm really excited at the fact that I have in front of me a set of Gen 1 B58 cams. So you guys know this is actually kind of new, at least for this platform, but we have some cams by Kelford CAMS and Dorch Engineering. They partnered together to come up with this kit, and I am literally the first person with a cams, and we're gonna go ahead and open them up and see what it's all about. I've had this box for a while, I haven't opened it, so this is a legitimate first time opening these cams. So we're gonna go over these cams, we're gonna look at them, we're gonna go over some information about them, and as well as talk about the installation a little bit. This installation is gonna be a little bit different than anything else. This is probably gonna require you to take it to a shop and have a mechanic actually do the work. These are drop-in though, but they're not plug and play. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, so let's go ahead and get in here. Pretty excited, I must say. Let's go ahead and get these unpacked. All right, let's see what's in here. So like I said, these are Kelford cams, partnered with Dorch Engineering. So Kelford CAMS giving you the power to win. All right guys, let's open this box up, see what's inside. I already know what's inside, but let's go ahead and look at it. All right, these are the Kelford cams. I like that they included this. So it has right here engine make, model, camshaft part number. They make the 257 A, B, and C. This is the A, so this is the smallest cam that they make essentially. And here it gives you some interesting specs that I feel like a lot of people look over, and they should really be paying attention to this stuff when building their engines. I think it's really cool that they included this. But the cam lift, the intake 6.35 millimeters, exhaust 6.08, then it gives you the rocket ratio, net valve lift, the duration, and yeah, a lot of things that, you know, for most people they're not going to care about, but for those of us that care about the little details and everything, yes, we're gonna like this. And also, so if we take this out, additional information, application 270 degrees performance cams for engines producing around 550 to 750 horsepower, running a 58 68 millimeter turbo. That's what it's recommended for. And then you can step up to a bigger cam if you're making more power and, you know, such. So in order to make the cam upgrades work, you do need a spring upgrade, and they have a kit right here. My car already has the spring upgrade from Ferrata, and so I don't have to do that. I can just drop in the cams. But if you want to get cams, high lift cams, you also have to do the springs and retainers kit at the same time. Otherwise, things will not work the way they're supposed to, or at least not for a very long time. So yes, putting these cams in is a lot more work than just dropping them in, because you do have to change out your springs, and then they give you a little sticker. I'm gonna put this to the side for now. Now there are some things that we need to talk about when it comes to this. We do have the exhaust and the intake cam. One thing I do want to note is that there are several offerings, and this is just one of them. This is the 257A cam. I do have the whole set, so we have the intake and the exhaust. So let's go ahead and look at the intake cam. Of course, looking at these cams just on their own is not really gonna show us much, but we still want to look at it, right? So this is, after all, an unboxing. All right, let's take this way. If we open this all the way up, we have here assembly grease, which is actually a really good idea and very thoughtful that they would include this. So assembly grease for when you're putting the cams in. And then we have the cam itself, and it's really well packaged from what I can tell. We have a little bit of tape right here. I'm just gonna take my knife to it though, so let's find that. All right, Take this out. Really well packaged, I will say that. And here's our cam. Here you can see where it says, I don't know if you can see it, but it says right there, BMW Gen 1 and Kelford CAMS, 257A, and a serial number underneath it. So this will always tell you that. And then of course on the other side you have the Dorch Engineering logo, plus 40% high pressure fuel pump. Obviously this does not include the fuel lobe, and you will see the difference when I pull out the exhaust cam. But here we have the 2 valves per cylinder. Yeah, that's it for the intake cam. Nothing much to see. Obviously the cams are a little bit bigger. And so let's look at this exhaust cam. So we have our intake. Now let's look at our exhaust cam. All right. And here is our exhaust cam. Alright, so if we put them right beside each other, you look at the difference between the two, you can see some differences right away. For example, the fuel lobe is right here. It's a big triangular lobe. We have this extra part right here, which is going to be your camshaft for your camshaft sensor. And then for this camshaft sensor, there's actually another piece that goes attached right here. And so with the rotation, it triggers a magnetic sensor, and that's how it knows that the cams are in timing, or if you have any cam issue. Just look at this one in particular, because this is basically where Dorch is the most involved, and it's because of this lobe right here. And if you look in there, the lobe is triangular. So this cam is an upgraded cam that also has the 40% Dorch Engineering fuel lobe on it. You can also just get the Dorch Engineering fuel lobe cam, which is just the exhaust cam, which is going to have the extra lobe, and then the rest of the cam is stock. And that's only if you want the fuel and you don't want the high lift for the cams. It's very modular. There's a lot of modularity here, a lot of different options. I've actually known about this product for quite some time. I've known about this product for probably about 2 years. I didn't exactly know the final form of the product when the S55 and N55 lift kits were being developed. Chris did tell me about those, and so I know how those work. There's a small camshaft inside of that whole unit, so I knew that they had to increase the size of the lobe. One thing that I do love about Dorch Engineering is that they test their products thoroughly. There's been about 2 years of the development on this camshaft. This camshaft is made of all billet aluminum. I don't think anybody else does all billet aluminum camshafts for our engines yet. I know that there are some companies out there that you can bring in your camshaft or whatever, and then they'll do like a service option on it where they remachine it. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I personally feel better at the fact that it is a billet aluminum camshaft and it's solid. I mean, this thing is heavy. But going back to what I was saying earlier, that this is essentially the lift kit for the B58. 40% extra fuel, and of course that 40% extra fuel is solely based on the DS2. You pair this with your DS2 pump, the bottom of the pump would obviously ride along the cam, and that's how you get the fuel to flow through the high pressure fuel pump. All of those figures, all of the power, everything that I've discussed is based on testing with the DS2 and the DS25. So this is specifically designed for that. For these cams, there are actually 2 versions. There's a Gen 1 and a 1.5, and all that has to do with is just the difference in the bolts that are back here on the Vano side of things. Some of them look like they're bolted down with like a spline bolt, and the other ones are hex bolt, and so it does matter. It does make a difference. So whenever you go on the website and you're looking at your cam, you have to be specific about which version you want, whether you want the Gen 1 or the Gen 1.5. And so there are some clarifications on the website. I'll link everything in the description below. I'll be linking these on the description down below as well, so you can go look at them yourself. But the fitment, it does say that it's only compatible with the Dorch high pressure fuel pump. So like I said, this is designed with the Dorch high pressure fuel pump in mind. It is important that no other pump is used when using this kit, as it will result in damage to your engine. Preload, spring rate, coil bind height, etc. are all supercritical, with zero room for error for this kit to function as intended. In the future, you will find a postcard in the cam boxes that explains an important fitment note for pump compatibility. Even some Dorch Engineering pumps may need to be updated or simply fitted with a modified mounting flange for the cams to work properly. The reason for this is a small change made to the fuel cam lobe right before release, so certain pumps will need a new flange. Dorch Engineering will be offering this fix free of charge to the customer. So one thing to note, the kit is not compatible with 2020 plus B58 vehicles, and at that point we see the shift from a Gen 1 B58 to a Gen 2 B58, so that makes perfect sense. Now, when going back to the lift kit term that I used earlier, if this cam was solely an upgraded lobe for the fuel side, then you would only need to buy the exhaust cam, and then you would do a full replacement on the cam, and that would be considered the B58 lift kit. However, I know that I want more power in my car, so I didn't opt to go with the lift kit. I wanted to get the full kit. So this is the A cam, you have a more aggressive B cam, and an even more aggressive C cam. This is honestly like a really good partnership. I'm glad that they partnered with Kelford. And actually, it's funny to see all of this now because I've known about this development for years. You know, 3 years later, we see these cams coming out, and of course, with the help of Dorch Engineering, I mean, it's a match made in heaven, to be honest. This is such a good product. I can't wait to put it on and see what it does. And the good thing is you're still going to maintain the full use of Valvetronic and the dual vanos for, you know, a good throttle response and a wide power band. Until I get more information on these cams, some real world data, I won't really be able to tell you how good these are in reality. But any cam that's a good cam, I think you're going to see around a 50 horsepower increase at least across the board. And I'm not saying that's as much as you will get. I'm just saying that at least you will get, if I had to guess, around 50 horsepower gains. If you were to just swap this in and retune for air and fuel, I think you would definitely gain about 50 horsepower. And then of course, if you want to tune more aggressive, you can, and I think that's where we'll really see these cams shine. But I like it. Billet aluminum, Kelford, Dorch. What more do you want? All right guys, and I just remembered that I have a scale, and I have the old cams and I have the new cams from Dorch Engineering. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and weigh them, because like I said, the new cams by Dorch Engineering are made out of billet aluminum, and the old cams are made by an aluminum alloy and they are hollow, where the Dorch cams are not. So we're gonna weigh them because I'm really curious to see the difference. I think it's gonna be a substantial difference. But the first thing we're gonna weigh is gonna be the intake cams. So I'm gonna take the OEM intake cam. So I'm gonna do this in grams, and then I'm gonna convert it into pounds later on. You know, as a scientist, we do everything in grams in the metric system. And so I wanna stick true to that. We're gonna do this in grams, and it's zeroed. So let's go ahead and zero one more time. Place our OEM cams. And our OEM cams are coming in at 1,335 grams. And so going off of that, let's go ahead and put this to the side. And let's go ahead and put in the Dorch Engineering intake cam. This is the 257A cam. Oh, whoa. This is 2406 grams. It's really heavy. That's not surprising actually, but I just wanted to see the differences. Let's go ahead and make sure that's zero. I'm gonna take our stock exhaust cam. As you guys can see, this one has the fuel lobe, just like the Dorch lift kit. And that's how you can identify it's an exhaust cam. Let's go ahead and place it. So we're gonna place it, and it is 1337 grams. And let's go ahead and take this off. We're gonna go ahead and zero it out. And this is the big one. This is the Dorch Engineering lift kit cam. Stage 1, stage A, I should call it. So let's go ahead and look at how much this exhaust cam weighs. I'll tell you right now, this is pretty hefty. So let's go ahead and weigh it. Place it easy. And it comes in at 2870 grams. So that's a substantially larger number. I was just really curious to see what the difference was. Now that difference in weight just means that the cams are actually solid. So the Dorch cams are going to be solid all through, which means that there's going to be a very, very small chance of them actually cracking or, you know, snapping or anything like that. Regular cams, they don't bend. They're hardened aluminum. They're very, very tough, but they're hollow, so they can still crack, they can still break. And I've actually seen that on a couple cars, not many cars, but the cams can break. With the billet aluminum ones, they're not gonna break, and they're gonna be more durable. This type of mods, you want, you know, the materials that these things are made out of to be really resistant to breaking, heat, and all that kind of thing. And billet aluminum, of course, we know it's very strong, so the chances of it actually, you know, breaking, they're very low. But anyway, guys, I'll have more information on this when we install it and when we begin doing some testing. I already have some baseline data on the car without the cams, and then we're going to do some testing with the cams and see just what dropping them in does. Anyway, guys, I hope this video was informational. I hope you learned a few things about these cams and how they work and such. If you like this video, go ahead and click like, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll be dropping more videos like this in the future. Talk to you later. Peace.